We, as human beings, have a role. You have a role, you have a role, and you have a role. All living creatures have a role. Even here in Toastmaster, we have a role. I'm doing my role right now, delivering a speech. Shiraz is doing his role, introducing the role players and coming up with a theme. Nice theme, by the way. And my evaluator is doing her role, evaluating me, and she'll be giving me areas of improvement later. Every meeting, we get different role. Who knows what's my role next time? Who's your role next time? What's your role next time? But there are a few roles. We stick to it for a whole year. I'm talking about Sergeant at Arm role, Security role, President role, VPED role, and all the role in XCOM. We all hang on to it for a whole year. When I started my journey, I was a regular member, taking up speaker roles, and just like Toastmaster Shiraz says, I'm always eager to take up a speaker role, grammarian, accounter, trying to take advantage of my too much free time. Until 2019, I got the encouragement to take over Sergeant at Arms. It's in another club. I got nominated right away. I was all like, let me give it a go. It was okay. It was simple. I hang out the banner, spread out the agenda, the name tag, bringing the cups and the snacks, prepare everything. This year, in another club, also the same club, the one I was nominated to Sergeant at Arms, I was encouraged to take up security role. I'm still doing up my role until my year is up. And let me say that this role is, wow, it's so big. It's so much bigger than Sergeant at Arms. It's so stupendous. Some of you might say all of the XCOM roles are important. You have a point. But let me explain to you through my experience and from what I've learned, the role of security, why I think it's stupendous. First of all, some of the new members are wondering, what is a security role here in Toastmaster? Let me hope by explaining what's a security, security in general. Sorry, I got confused. Anyway, in general, they will take care of a record, letter, meeting for a specific person. A doctor can have a secretary, even a lawyer, a teacher, a principal in school. Anyone can help them organize their task, their letter, their meeting. You might see one saying, "Doctor, you have a patient waiting for you," for instance. Here in Toastmaster, we as secretary taking care of record here in Toastmaster. Participant, the members, the guests, role player. I take care of them right here in this notebook. Right now you're asking, where is the notebook of Toastmaster that keeps the record? Well, unfortunately, when I took up the role, we were in virtual meeting and I was in Egypt. So I had to write all of the notes in my own notebook. Once I noticed something, whether it's good or bad or something, just a little detail, I would inform the president. The president, as we all know, provide leadership and guidance the Toastmaster need to be successful, to make the Toastmaster place positive and supportive that will help the members encouraged more to take up role and attending the meeting all the time. My job as secretary to inform the president of every little detail. I collected some feedbacks from some of the Toastmasters of what they think of the secretary. Toastmaster Imret, I remember you were telling me that it's a team effort, that a secretary would always prepare the meeting. They even take care of the record even before the meeting. You did tell me that, right? And I got a feedback from Toastmaster June that a secretary is a hero. They'd always take care and support the meeting here in Toastmaster and in XCOM meeting. You did tell me that a secretary is a hero, right, Toastmaster June? She told me a story of Toastmaster. I'm not sure if I know her, but her name is Ramya. She told me that this Toastmaster believes that her secretary is amazing, giving her the details and the record in an effective manner. Toastmaster Facial told me that a significant secretary who takes care of the meeting and the Toastmaster. Does anyone here have a personal opinion about a secretary? Anyone?
I feel that secretary is next to president. If president is not there, the secretary is the most important person to take care of everything.
You have a good point here. One time the president had some work to do, so he asked me personally to take care of a meeting. You can ask Toastmaster Hanan about it. She knows about it. Secretary and treasurer. What does it have anything to do with it? You're wondering right now. What I want to talk about is taking two roles at the same time. When I was gathering some points about secretary to talk about in general, I realized when I was reading each role, there's a note that says it can be both secretary and treasurer. I was wondering, can a Toastmaster really take two roles at the same time? Does any of you here believe that? Okay, it's because I never met anyone. Well, I've met they take over grammar and account at the same time, but a secretary and treasurer at the same time? No, this is the first time thing for me. Maybe it could be both at the same time because they both take care of a record. In treasurer, they do take care of a record. Financial record. They make sure that the Toastmaster is financially stable. I had the opportunity to take two roles at the same time, secretary and VPED. I wasn't sure. I was too focused about taking care of the role as secretary. I was still learning. I wasn't sure, should I take over or not? I believe it would be too much for me. Toastmaster Arij, I remember I did ask you a personal opinion about it, and you told me it's better not to do it. It would be too much burden for me. Do you guys here believe it would have been too much for me? Do you guys believe it would have been too much for me?
As much as you can carry that burden.
Okay. From what I learned throughout my journey, that a secretary has to be two personality. It's just a personal opinion. One, they have to be a caring person. You see, during my journey, I cared so much that I want to make some improvement to my club. That I had two Toastmasters, Hanan and Arich, felt I'm doing it all alone and it's too much. I remember Arich told me it's too much for me. And Hanan, yeah, she told me it's too much. One alone is not enough. So my personal opinion that someone, a secretary here at Toastmaster, would be a caring person. They would care too much for this club. Another thing, they would be organized. Like I said earlier, they would organize the record, the meeting, and talking about the member, how many members and how many guests are there. So they have to have two personality, caring and organized. But of course, that's my personal opinion. Some of you might have other opinion. So to conclude, I want to give you all encouragement. If you had the opportunity to take up a role much higher, just go for it. Because before I was a bit nervous, but I got confidence through my journey, and I realized that it's not so bad. I had nothing to worry about. So when you guys are looking for a secretary, I would be honored to take up the role. Of course, if you guys allow me here in Desert Pioneer to let me become secretary here. Of course, if you allow it. So take up the role. Do not be scared. You can feel a bit nervous just for a while, but I'm sure you all can handle it. Back to you.